Good afternoon on what is a cool, grey and cloudy day. It is Sunday the 1st of January 2023. I'm in the reading nook with a nice cup of tea. And a parcel to continue unboxing. And what I am going to pull out here is this, which is the Traveller Explorers Edition science fiction adventure in the far future. This is for Mongoose, the version of Traveller, second edition from Mongoose Publishing. So, Traveller is the science fiction role-playing game of the far future. The Traveller Explorers Edition is an introduction to the game for newcomers that provides all the tools you need to create adventures or even an entire campaign. Create bold scouts and intrepid scientists who travel into the unknown aboard their trusty Type S Scout Courier, a rugged exploration ship perfect for the job. Dock your ship at advanced starports, visit strange worlds, encounter alien beings and animals, and take on the challenges that the galaxy sets before you. The universe awaits. Welcome to Traveller. So, Traveller is it's 2023, which means that Traveller is 45 years old this year. Originally published in 1977 by Game Designers Workshop, gone through one or two publishers before finding a home at Mongoose for the past decade or so, and in that time Mongoose has produced some stuff that is less than perfect, and some stuff which is actually perfect, surprisingly. So what's this like? Nice cover, have a look inside. The idea is sort of like we've got a nice alien world, starship landing, presuming that looks like a Type S Scout, and looks to be an air raft there with the exploration team all in vac suits. And then open up, we've got an introduction. Plain and simple. Nice quote from Carl Sagan there, famous astronomer, best known. Remember, basically the quote is taken from the television series and the book Cosmos, which was like a big tentpole kind of scientific series in 1980. Notably. Had a soundtrack done by Vangelis, but it was one of those series which made science and astronomy popular. So, very quickly after the introduction, we get into Traveller creation. I'm talking about how to create, Traveller creation. What they mean is character creation. So we've got a complete guide to that. Covering background skills, careers, skills and training, advancement, and so on. And it's for two different careers, Scholar and Scout. So Traveller is famous for really kind of one thing, its means of character creation, where you start off as an 18-year-old and you go through a number of one or more 4-year terms up until about the age your character is aged 42. And has had a career behind them. So typically that's a career in the Imperial Navy or the Imperial Scout Service, or in this case the Imperial Scout Service, and academia. The redesign here has basically combined earlier multiple versions of Traveller, like Mega Traveller and original Black Box Traveller, to give a few more options in terms of what types of characters you can take. So, for example, for the Scholar, your career progress can be either as a field researcher, scientist, or physician, i.e. doctor, whereas in previous iterations you might have had the scientist class given straight character career given, and also the physician both separate. Here they've been worked in together. And then you've got tables for sort of like the rank progression, and mishaps and events, because they've added mishaps and events that can happen to you each term. And there's a chance, not of death per se, but at least injury or ignominy or so on due to events or disasters, and otherwise events can go your way. And then they do exactly the same thing for the scouts. You've got the courier, surveyor, and explorer. So in this case, the courier maintains the S-boat routes across the Imperium, which is the fast means of handling basically messages from one planet to another, basically across the Imperium, because the Imperium is huge. Now, the default system, I'm talk about the Imperium. The Imperium really isn't mentioned here, I suspect, or talked about very much, because it is a vast polity, which is more or less sectors, whole sectors across that is ruled sort of like by a sense of feudalism. It's an empire, mostly a benign empire. Anyway, so go back to the careers for the scout. You have surveyor and explorer. Surveyor goes to discover worlds and surveys them. The explorer goes and finds the new world. So yeah, those are the two careers. Then you've got general life events. It can also happen to your player characters as you create them. Rules for aging, because your stats decrease as you get older, injuries and so on. Then we get into explanation of the skills and tasks and how that works. And essentially, it's a roll two six-sided dice. Aim to get 8 or more, adding in your skill and your attribute bonus if you have one. And then we have explanations of the skills. So in a way, this is essentially a cut-down version of the core rulebook. Very cut down. The core rules book is it's got to be 5 times as thick as this book. So got a list of skills, and we have combat. Combat's fairly deadly because characters do not have hit points. Damage comes directly off their physical attributes: strength, dexterity, and endurance. Especially if you're dealing with things like you've got laser rifles and plasma rifles and so on. Encounters and dangers. So you're dealing with diseases, suffocation, radiation, and the like. Encounters. Essentially talking about animal traits. We just got that page and that page. Okay, so not very much on that at all. Equipment. Talking about armor augments, because the current iteration of Traveller does allow some sort of like cyberware, communications and software, medical care and supplies, with these illustrations as well, all cleanly, neatly laid out. Sensors, survival gear, of course this is probably more important. And there's actually that actually gets more than that. Actually gets to a couple of pages, which makes sense. Weaponry. Nice illustration, but not of the ship that is really the basis for this book. Spacecraft operations. You know, things like handling like atmospheric operations, running costs, maintenance, fuel, jump travel. Because it's a setting with faster than light travel. You have jump space where you can basically, the jump drive enables you to go up anywhere, depending upon the power of the jump drive, between 1 and 6 parsecs. But that journey always takes 1 week, no matter what the distance. So you literally, there are whole adventures where, where you are, you can have in jump space, essentially where you are doing like a ship in a bottle adventure. And that's especially if you're doing something like a mercantile campaign, where you've got passengers on board, and they can be interesting or difficult. Okay, also space combat. So generally you're firing things like lasers, beam lasers, pulse lasers, missiles, and then throwing sand or chaff into the path, both sort of like lasers and the missiles and so on. And then we got there's the air art, which you see on the front cover, and then basically the iconography for the deck plans. That's the deck plan legend. and then you have the classic Type S scout ship, 100 tons, and that's almost seen as the starter ship for your player characters. Other than that, you might have a Type A2 far trader is quite common. World creation, essentially because the player characters, they're going to be visiting new worlds and exploring them. So full details of that. You know, and that deals with everything from star mapping, gas giants, world atmosphere types, hydrographics, population, government, law level, and so on. You know, the basic law level typically comes down to what type of weapons are basically allowed. Starports, because the type of starport will depend upon what facilities are available, and of course they're explorers. They're going to be few and far between. Tech level, ranging from 0 or 1 and 2, basically Stone Age, all the way up to sort of like 15 and far future, grav cities and anti-grav cities and the like. And that's it. There is so I look at this and I'm thinking, who's this for? Now it says it's an interesting game for newcomers that provides all the tools to create adventures over the entire campaign. Yes and no. You've got all the tools there, but it's sort of like I'm wondering, well, why don't they go and get the full rulebook? Because this is quite an expensive supplement. It's in here in the UK. It's £25 now. Of course, role-playing books are no longer as cheap as they once were. But does this offer anything to the new player that the core rule book doesn't? And that's a no. It's got all the core elements of the game in there. It's got a couple of careers. I'm not entirely sure that the courier role in the scout service is particularly interesting beyond background. For a character as to why they go and do exploring, but there's no. I think my problem with it is it's all tell and no show. So there's no sample. There's no sample setting for the player characters to go and explore. And if this isn't for newcomers, surely that's for newcomers who are players and game masters. And what are the game masters doing with this? There's no advice for them. If it's for new players, do they need all the information about the creating worlds and let alone space combat? I mean, they do kind of need the space combat rules, but and if it's for the game master, where's the advice for him or for him or her? Where's the sample subsector or worlds or story hooks or something that the prospective game master can pick this up and go, oh, okay, I'm going to do a game. I want to try Traveller. I'm going to pick this up, and I've got something to start playing with. But there's nothing in there like that, and I think that's a major omission in this book. So you have to wonder who it really is actually for. Whereas it's just I am a bit confused about that. Anyway, well, that's Traveller Explorers Edition from Mongoose Publishing. I have to say, I'm not entirely surprised that I am confused about this book. As I say, not every Traveller book from Mongoose has been perfect. In fact, some of them have been very far from perfect. They have got better over the years. It's taken them a long time, and most of them are pretty good these days. If you have a look for a great campaign for Traveller, then do look at the Pirates of Drinax. That's great. And some of the campaigns that have been coming out, they're really good. But this I'm not entirely sure that this is quite what the prospective Traveller player kind of wants. As they say, all show, no tell. All tell, no show, and you do have to show. I think with a role-playing game, you do have to give examples. You do have to show. and I think that's what's missing. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Thanks for watching another unboxing of the Nook. If you've enjoyed this, please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a package containing a book, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do click on the on the subscribe button down below. Lastly, I want to thank Neve, my friend Neve, for lending this to me so I can do an unboxing, and thank you again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.